So it all boils down to this, folks. One game to set yourselves up for an absolute cracking finale. That's right. Wembley awaits two clubs. But which two clubs are we talking about? We've got the League One playoff semi-finals, second legs, and they're coming at you next. That's right, folks. Back once again with another prediction video. Today is the League One. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today it's the League One semi-finals, second legs, and we're coming at you in just 1 second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, League One, World Football. We're going to all hear under our Rooski. That's right. Of course, some clubs have got 1 foot in the final, but others have got a little bit of work to do. What am I talking about? Well, I'll show you in a second. Of course, big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. In fact, I think League One is evenly poised coming into this with a bit of a cracker. Second leg just around the corner. We'll have a look at all of it in a second. Big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. So let's get into it and recap what we're talking about. We're talking about this, guys. It is the League One playoffs, of course, and they're coming at you in thick and fast. Of course, no rest for the wicked. But before we jump into our second round of games, let's have a look at what I said in the first leg. So here we go. Brisbane Rovers, the venue. Well, 2-1 was my prediction for the first leg at Leyton Orient, but we had an absolute cracker on hand. 2-2 in the end to set up a cracking second leg over at Edgeley Park. Meanwhile, in Adams Park, it was a bit of a contrast, really. 0-0 was my prediction. 0-0 was the final score. We kind of got what we bargained for here. Two kind of defensive, kind of focused kind of teams here, playing it cautious, kind of set themselves up for a bit of a cracking, though, second leg with it all on the line, which could... Looks, when you smell it, it does smell like could go to penalties, that one. But that's, of course, that's getting ahead of things. That's, of course, my take. Let me know your thoughts, of course, of those first legs there. But now we're going to get into the deep end here and take a look at the second legs. And this is where it's all at. There's 2 spots available at Wembley. Who's going to go home? This is the link for the prediction league, which will announce the winner in the next round of games here, guys, at the final. So sit tight and get into it right here now. So then, guys, here is those next round of games, and they're coming at you thick and fast. So we're going to start with a trip, first and foremost, to Edgeley Park. That's right. That's coming at you on Wednesday, the 14th of May, of course. So let's get into it, shall we? David Chandler's boys are third in the table. They did finish third in the table, 87 points for the campaign. Coming into this on the back of that draw in the first leg at Brisbane Road. They're unbeaten in the last 9 matches with 83% form for them over the last 6. Standing in the way, though, is the form team in the division. It is Leyton Orient. They're on 92% form. They're unbeaten in the last 8 games. But they're rocking red-hot form in the last 6. They did finish 6th in the table. Last-minute barnstorming at the expense of Reading. And now they've played, they're taking on Stockport County, which will be for the 12th time since 2005. 4 wins apiece and 3 draws in the previous 11. It is so tight between these two sides. 3-0 win the biggest scoreline for Stockport. They've got 16 goals in those 11 games, 1.45 goals a game on average. Now, they have got the more goals scored in that column. Meanwhile, Leyton have got the biggest victory against the opposition. They've got a 4-1 win on Stockport heading into this. They got 15 goals scored, though, in those 11 games, 1.36 goals a game. Let's talk about the times they played this season, and we had some crackers already. The last time they played at Edgeley Park, we had a 4-1 win. What was that 4-1 win? The record scoreline in this competition for Leyton Orient in the away dugout. That's back in September 2024. The reverse fixture in the league, the normal league season, ended up being a 1-0 win for Stockport at Brisbane Road. So exchanging victories at their own venue, and they've done that on their back-to-back occasions. The last 2 home matches in normal league time at Brisbane Road have ended up being a Stockport victory. Meanwhile, the last 2 regular league matches at Edgeley Park have ended up with a Leyton Orient victory. But we're coming into this now in the playoff territory. 2-2 final score last time around. What we're going to get this time around, who bloody knows? Of course, coming into this, Stockport are in the home dugout here. The last time they played at home in the league, it was a 3-2 win for Lincoln. Meanwhile, Leyton Orient's last away match, of course, was a 4-1 win over Huddersfield Town. Who actually bloody knows what we're going to get here? It's absolutely confusing. There's goals in this team. There's drama. And to be honest with you, I like both of these two teams. I've got a soft spot for Leyton Orient. I always had a soft spot for Leyton Orient. But I also got a soft spot for Stockport because they've been on a journey. And if they could match Wrexham, that would be absolutely cracking end to the season for them. Because they've been following them up from non-league into, it's been so cool having them join them or stalk them. Kind of like stalking them. But anyway, enough about that. Bookies odds, they give it to Stockport. But Leyton Orient, of course, the underdogs. again, they are playing a good bit of football right now, and they've been on a good uptick in form. It's tight. It is tight. I am going to stick my neck out, though, and go with a 2-0 win for Stockport and their own backyard. I think the faithful there at Ashley Park will make it loud and proud and roll them over the line to get themselves to Wembley in a cracking final against one of these guys. Now, these guys both have their own merits and both got a little bit of history themselves. Of course, Wycombe not long ago were in Championship. Charlton, of course, have been out of the wilderness for some time, but they've got the man, the myth, the legend that is Nathan Jones in the dugout. He's a wild card. He's the 13th man. He's an extra bonus man, and he knows what he's doing. So let's take a look at their chances coming into this game then, shall we? Alrighty then, this match will take place on the 15th of May. That's right, Charlton and Nathan Jones are finished 4th in the campaign, 85 points for the season, just one defeat in the last 6. Up against Wycombe, who are coming into this in pretty bad form. That's right, they're winners in the last 4. They did finish 5th with 84 points, just 1 point separate these two sides in the league. They played 16 times since 2006, 9 wins to Charlton, 4 wins Wycombe. There's been 3 draws. It is a kind of a great Londonish kind of affair, this one, with Charlton's recent run of form against these guys. They got a 4-0 win on the record. They got 25 goals scored against Wycombe, 1.56 goals a game. However, Wycombe with a 1-0 win, that's the biggest scoreline. That's all it takes, though. All it takes in this game, a 1-0 win, to do it. They scored 16 goals in the 16 games. They're averaging 1 goal a game. But coming into this, though, on the back of that 0-0 draw, no side really stepping up to the plate, no one going for broke, but of course still all on the line here at the Valley. That's right. Coming into this, though, let's talk about the games they played already this season. At the Valley, 2-1 win it was for Charlton in the league back in December 2024. The last time they played at Adams Park was a 4-0 win for Charlton. That was, of course, back in April. So they got back-to-back wins for them over the league. And they picked up that 0-0 draw at Adams Park. So advantage, you would say, for Charlton, who've only lost once in the last 6 against Wycombe. And that was back in April 2024 at Adams Park. So back-to-back wins for Charlton over Wycombe at this very venue. They're trying to add another one as well. Now, coming into this, Charlton's last home match was a 3-1 win over Burton. Wycombe's last away match, though, was a 1-0 loss to Leyton Orient. They're not in good form here, guys. They're actually pretty woeful form. That was the one draw, or the one semi-positive result of the last 4 matches. Bookies odds on this one, don't have any. Of course, I think Wycombe are on borrowed time. They've been on borrowed time since Bloomfield made the switch to Luton Town, and unfortunately I don't think Dodds is going to be the right man. I do think this is going to be the end of the road here for Wycombe Wanderers, and possibly a start of a bit of a slip for them. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Charlton on this one. Of course, that 2-0 win for Stockport does result in a 4-2 aggregate scoreline, but that 1-0 win for Charlton does seal the deal for them, and they will join Stockport County in an epic League One playoff final at Wembley to see who will be back in the Championship for the first time in a long time. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm confident with that. I'm a little bit sad for both Leyton Orient and Wycombe. I think they're all competed very well this season. Leyton Orient ever so much as well with their grandstand finish. But like I said, this is the final that we will have. Stockport County against Charlton. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And again, don't forget to predict those last few games, of course, the semi-finals and the final, and then we'll reveal it. And we come back for the prediction for the playoff final at Wembley very, very soon. But until then, subscribe. Smash the like. Until then, we're done.